Hello everybody, welcome to another replay analysis from the community. It's a replay sent by MaNa. He is a Masters 3 player claiming to be 4450 MMR on European server, and his message is very quick: defending frigate pressure, and that's all he has to say. So let's try to take a look what's the problem is going to be, how to defend frigate pressure and what he did wrong in here. Funnily enough, his opponent, MaNa's opponent, is going to be Guitar King, a person that I have coached on my very first YouTube video when it comes to coaching. So yeah, I'm curious how it's going to look like. PvP frigate defense, this is what he's struggling with. Map is going to be Death Aura. And I think frigate on Death Aura should not be big of a problem really. Oh, what? That's an interesting gateway. I think I saw Showtime do it or something like that in here. So I guess the reasoning behind this gateway is that on Death Aura it's very popular to go for a cannon rush, whether you wall in here this area and the cannons in here, so they are kind of blocked by the pylons. So this gateway is blocking entirely this area. So it's a sweet position, but yeah, this is not the topic of this. So he went straight to the edge. He's faking a cannon rush. Okay, he's faking a cannon rush. Okay, you're not falling for it, very nice. Your opponent is doing... Okay, no proxy pylon so far, but it looks like you wanted to proxy pylon. I don't know what this probe was doing, but you already lost a lot of mining time with this probe. Maybe you were fake, I don't know. I don't really see a purpose for this probe to be there. But okay, maybe I don't understand it. You see everything normal. I would be doing the same thing that you're doing. Double stalker. Perfectly fine. Third pylon is on the high ground. I think you got blocked, right? You couldn't do a third pylon on the low ground. Let's see. Okay, there should be a probe going to the low ground right now. Okay, it's slightly too late and you were blocked and you were forced to put this pylon in here. The reason why the third pylon should be on the low ground is that this pylon doesn't allow you to go for the low ground shield battery, right? To defend later on. Because there's no simply not enough building place. But okay. Not the biggest of deals. You start with double stalkers and your opponent is doing the same. You're going for 4 stalkers. Chronobusting the warp gate. Okay, you're going for the nexus. Your gateways are not producing. Okay, you're starting it now. Okay. I think finishing this pylon is not necessary. Let's take a look if you actually saw what was going out. Okay. So you made this pylon slightly too early, I feel like. Because you had to finish it in order to spot for these. I think it's never a good idea to finish this pylon, especially not if you're expanding. There's no reason to lose 100 minerals like that, I think. So you're going, okay, so there is spotting here for the shield battery, so it's not terrible. Okay, but your opponent is going for a third gate, so 4 stalkers. Okay, you have 2 sentries. You're going for the twilight, you're looking very standard. But you are not creating additional units from the gateways. Now you are, as the warp gate is finishing. Okay, you cancel the gateways, okay. Warp in, sentry stalker now. Stalker, okay. Good. Stalker, okay, 4 stalker, 2. It's okay. No. Okay, this is really bad. You have wasted 2 force fields, you only 2 force fields that you had. Let me rewind a little bit. I want to see, when did you start the sentries? I think it's quite crucial in here. Right after the stalkers are finished, you should be starting sentries immediately. You are being supply blocked a bit right now as the stalkers are finishing. So the sentries should be starting right now. 26 seconds, so they should be done at 3:01, right? Should be sentries being out of the gateways. Let's see when you get them. Sentries finished right now, and you are just starting. So you are the full warp gate cycle of the sentries behind. The sentry should be out, and the sentry's energy should be at 330, 75. So you can send the hallucination on the other side of the map to check for the lack of expansion, as well as for additional tech. You would be able to recognize what your opponent is doing. So right now, At 3:23 the sentries are out. And right now you would be able to send the hallucination if you queued up at least one sentry immediately after the stalker. So you send the hallucination, let's say it takes what, 5 seconds, 6 seconds? Okay, let's give it 10 seconds across the map with the hallucination. So let's see what you would be able to see at 3:42. Okay. The hallucination arrives in his main base right now from the sentry if you would be doing everything properly. So what do you see? Warp gates being free warp gates, well, transferring to warp gates, I should say. Gateways transferring into warp gates. Expansion that is much later than you. So your ideal defense would be immediately, of course, additional units from the gateways and another shield battery, because it's obviously a free gate pressure in here. But what you have instead is 2 less units from the gateways because you are a full production cycle behind. So you should have already 4 stalkers, 2 sentries in here. Meanwhile, again, just behind the entire cycle, these force fields would not be necessary immediately because you would see this as a free gate pressure and you want to save these force fields for later when the Protoss is attacking, right? You would be expecting more pressure than only 4 stalkers, so you would be saving this energy to, well, dissect the army of your opponent. But you're starting blink. This is kind of tricky, but you still have the battery to fall back to. Okay. No, this overcharge is way too early. There was no fighting going on. And now you don't have the defensive. Look at this. He comes in with like 11 stalkers, he can one-shot everything. So what this battery would allow, like this overcharge battery was a big mistake, because what you could do with this army is stand in here, and the moment that you see these amount of stalkers approaching from this side, you set down one force field in here, and if he commits going forward around that force field, you use the second sentry force field and you, let's say, dissect the 4 stalkers or 3 stalkers, whatever is possible with this. And then the overcharge battery can kick in, or you even don't need to use the shield battery, because this is a very tight area where force fields are dangerous for this amount of movers. You cannot let the superior amount of stalkers just walk in, especially when you have sentries in play. This is just a micro mistake in here and decision mistake. So he goes in, he can do whatever he wants. He can warp in even a sentry to block you in here. These batteries are not necessary because with a hallucination that you should have sent earlier on, you would see there's no Twilight Council or Robo, so there's no way he can go up the ramp and have high ground vision without using the Adepts or Blink. So there's no way he could be going up the ramp. If he goes up the ramp, he loses few stalkers because of the force fields. So these batteries are not necessary. But you don't know that because you didn't scout shit. You didn't know that he's expanding behind us. So again, lack of information is costing you this game. As I can see, this is a very bad situation for you. Blink is going to finish, that's cool and all, but again, look at this. 2 shield batteries that are completely useless, that's 200 minerals. Because you didn't understand the situation correctly. Again, you're not sending the hallucinations just to confirm the information. You had 30 seconds or so to send the hallucination just to confirm if you're super behind or not. But you've been not using sentries properly. I guess the only thing that I could... What? Charge? You have Blink, Robo, and you're going for charge on one base. What do you expect to have? No. You should be just making mass Blink Stalker, because with charge, the way that the Zealots work, they are just brute force units. You will not have more than a guy who has more probes and more bases than you. So you need to go for cost efficiency. That's why you would need Blink Stalkers and sentries in this situation. It's a poor choice of going for charge. You will have what, 6, 8 Zealots when you attack? You're adding a 4th gateway. Send 8 probes right now to the minerals, because they are not mining from this little mineral patch anyway. But yeah, this is basically over for you already. I don't see how you can defend this. However, the red Protoss is being very, very greedy in the meantime, and he has only 11 stalkers without Blink. So imagine if you had only stalker sentries in this one immortal with the prism. You could definitely out-micro this army, because there's no mobility in here. And once again, you wasted the forces for nothing. But again, you didn't scout whatsoever. You have no idea if he has Blink or not, but you could have. You Could have scouted for that. So you go forward, you lose a lot of stalkers in the meantime. But again, you have just 2 little probes. And then, okay, you're attacking. You have charge. Okay, you have 3 zealots. So this is the investment of 400 minerals and 100 gas that you think paid off? No. It was a bad choice to go for charge in here. Stalkers would be so much better, much more microbility, and you are able to save them, right? If they're low on HP, you can blink back and then even pick up in the war prison. With the zealots, they just go in forward. You don't need that. That's very little army in here. You could blink back these stalkers, but you're deciding not to. Save the immortal. Okay. It was still very close to win. Just imagine if you had only stalkers in here. Zealots are good in these numbers, of course. When you have like 4 zealots versus 4 stalkers, and this is good. But this situation should not be happening, really. Imagine if you had a single battery here, you would die as well. And I think that's how the game ends in here. Okay, so the key points in the early game, after the 2 stalkers, immediately start the sentries. You can check my my guide on Stalker Sentry Expand. It's my very first guide on this YouTube channel that you can watch Sentry Stalker Expand. It's slightly different than Stalker Stalker, but it applies the same dynamic a bit. So yeah, again, Stalker Stalker, Sentry Sentry immediately, and at 3:30, try to note that at 3:30 you should have a sentry with a hallucination and immediately send it, because if you're not going to confirm what your opponent is doing, you will always be in the dark, right? He could be free-gating you, he could be proxying a Stargate, anything. Sentries are there to scout, and if you use the hallucination to scout, you will have only energy for 1 force field, so that's why it's a good idea to add a 3rd sentry to have 2 force fields at least to defend this ramp. And then you would be able to defend the free-gate. So basically, I think this is the biggest mistake. Using the shield battery in here was really well, eager. It was way too early. There was no fight going on and you just set it off for no reason, and that's losing your defensive capabilities. So defending frigate, I would say, is very easy with sentries. You block the army from going in here. As we could see, the stalkers, I can actually go back a bit in here. So the moment he has stalkers in here, the 4 stalkers are not that scary, right? You can defend it with the shield battery. But the moment there are more than 4 stalkers, like 6 to 8 and more, you have to split the army with your sentries in here, because this is just going to be one-shot potential, and shield battery is not going to be useful. Like, these forces were preemptive too early, and yeah, you would be able to see that he's expanding, so the amount of stalkers is going to be without blink or without robo, simply because there's not enough money for all the tech and expansion at the same time. So I hope I helped you in here. I think it's a fairly easy to analyze replay if you watch it closely, having enough energy on the sentries and reacting to what you could possibly see with the sentry energy. It's very easy to defend. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. I hope I helped you to how to react and or defend the frigate pressure. It's really not that hard. Use the sentries with the force fields, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Have a great day, and bye bye.